Hey, what is up, everyone? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. We are here, fourth episode, Thursday, sixth season. We are here to talk about last night's interesting, feisty games, and we're going to talk about tonight's games and my talk about what is going on with the Seattle Kraken's goaltending situation, Boone Jenner, Kirill Kaprizov, the Amalie Arena update from Hurricane Milton, and the Florida Panthers. Who's going to be signing long term next? If it's going to be Aaron Ekblad or Sam Bennett, or maybe both. Who knows? Let's get to the first topic of the day. Last night's games, Pittsburgh Penguins, they are a dumpster fire. I mean, they are just a mess. That Erik Karlsson trade looks worse by the day. And they are playing in Detroit tonight. And Tristan Jarry did not do anything. And the New York Rangers looked pissed and motivated. And they are on a mission. And they were just phenomenal. Alexei Lafreniere was just spectacular all around. Igor Shesterkin, show me the money. Show me the money. 6-0 shutout. And that's a statement right there. And makes me want to think Shesterkin is going to be playing for a contract extension. That is the major key. I see we're going to have a unique thing. And the question is, if Igor Shesterkin can get a Stanley Cup, if he can carry what he can do, I got to say, the New York Rangers better open up the cap and the bank, because this is going to be one of those things. If you've got a huge investment, because Igor Shesterkin's one of the best goalies in the world, in the entire world, and he can be a huge investment. And like I said about with Trouba and a few others, there's some contracts you got to do due diligences with. And you got to make sure you pay that man. He's a unicorn of goalies. It's hard to find a goaltender with that credential. And like I said, Igor Shesterkin could be going anywhere. Chicago could be after him. Anaheim could be after him. Utah, Detroit Red Wings. There is a catalog of teams needing his service. And I'll say this: the New York Rangers better bring in a lot of truck of money in the bank. You got to bring those Benjamins there. This right here is a do or die. And the New York Rangers looked spectacular out there last night. It was just like ruthless. I mean, it made Mr. Popper's Penguins look like child's play. I mean, the Pittsburgh Penguins are just a dumpster fire of a franchise. And if I was Mary Lemieux, I want the money that I sold that team to Fenway Sports back, because Fenway and LeBron, they are not making the Pittsburgh Penguins a legendary, successful franchise. They're looking like the Philadelphia Flyers right now. It's so horrific. And the Pittsburgh Penguins need help. And Dubas is trying to do his magic that he did at Toronto. But this is the NHL. We're not doing super teams, Letang, Crosby, and Malkin, the longest tenured trio in major sports history. I feel like this is the last call, the last curtain. I see those three both going out in the next couple years. It's over for that group. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we got breaking news. The Tampa Bay Lightning postponing their home opener, and we'll be clarifying a new date once the show is over and we give the update for a later episode tomorrow. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, though, oh my God, they are a mess. They are, I like that Rutger kid. He is a good, solid player. And I think that the Penguins have got some pieces, little pieces, but not the pieces that they had back in the day. this team this team's going to be a rebuild team again, and it's going to be a lottery team. And it's like everyone sees in the Xbox and the PlayStation, the players left the room. Goodbye. That's what happened to the Pittsburgh Penguins. They just simply gave up 6-0 last night. And speaking of 6-0 last night, how about the Edmonton Oilers losing to the Winnipeg Jets? And Pens need help. If you were the GM, what move would you make? Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I don't know if anybody's interested in certain players, like, if anyone wants a Kevin Hayes or whoever, but I don't know. Like, the Penguins need a goalie. That's you know, I think letting Marc-Andre Fleury go was one of the biggest mistakes in expansion history. And don't forget, Flowers got 3 Stanley Cups, and he's considered one of the greatest goalies of all time. No one thought he would be a Pittsburgh Penguin forever. And look what happened to Matt Murray. Matt Murray is damaged goods ever since he's left. The Pittsburgh Penguins are going to Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto, and Jari. He's an all-star, but he's no Fleury. I mean, like I said, goalies are unicorns. It's rare to find a Ken Dryden. It's rare to find Roberto Luongo. It's rare to find a Tom Barrasso. It's very rare to find a significant goalie. Patrick Waugh, Dominic Hasek, Mike Vernon. And Martin Brodeur. It's hard to find a goalie. They're unicorns. These goalies come in every 5, maybe 10, 15 years. It's hard to find a solidified goalie for a franchise. But speaking of goaltenders, Connor Hellebuyck spanked the Edmonton Oilers 6-0. And I can hear Connor McDavid right now. Dig right the F now. Yeah. It's kind of funny, but the Edmonton Oilers, they'll be fine. It's just the first game of the year. I mean, Connor Hellebuyck played well. The Winnipeg Jets are making a statement. They're just showing their moxie from what happened to them last year in the postseason. They were strong that one game, and all of a sudden, the rails came off, and there was a lot of questions of how the future is going to be for the Winnipeg Jets. And I give a lot of credit to that core of what they did last night. And, Edmonton's going to be playing on Saturday night. You know how it is going to be in Edmonton. I think they're going to be feisty. They're going to do a little, what's that word? Redemption night. Yeah, redemption night for their game. Yeah, it did not look pretty at all. It did not look pretty at all for the Edmonton Oilers. And I'll say, going back to that Rangers thing, though, I forgot to mention that the first opening night goaltender for New York Rangers got a shutout for Igor Shesterkin, Gump Worsley, 1956. That's an amazing fun fact right there. And Connor Hellebuyck, the first Winnipeg Jet goalie. And I don't know if it's the 1.0 or the current in franchise history for the first game of the season. And speaking of shutouts, Samuel Montembeault, what a night for him. And he gets the shutout against the Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0. And Stolarz played, it's a new team. We get it. It's a brand new team for him. And he's a Stanley Cup champ. And I got to say that Toronto, fans out there, it's just one game. One game. It's not the end of the world. And, it will be okay. And Montembeault, his stats were phenomenal. 40-something saves. What a trooper for him. And also, what a goal by Cole Caulfield, wearing his new number 13 in tribute of Johnny Gaudreau, number 13 of the Montreal Canadiens. He played spectacular. He was just phenomenal with that shot from Yaroslav Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky, he is going to be a tank. I wouldn't be surprised he gets his first All-Star appearance this year for the Montreal Canadiens and in the NHL All-Star game. This guy is ready to explode. I wouldn't be surprised he's going to be point per game. He's got that strong stride. He's got that maturity. I believe he will be a dominant player this season, and Montreal could be making sneaky noise. And what an upset last night. The Calgary Flames beating the Vancouver Canucks 6-5 overtime. in Vancouver. The Canucks had a 4-1 lead, and the young guys for the Calgary Flames played well. Hubie got a goal. That's good for him. And it was a scrappy win. They crashed the net. They did the job. And JT Miller, he played well for the Canucks, but getting that 1 point overtime, it was a little disappointing for the Canucks faithful, but I'd say that, it's not over yet. There's only been one game. It's not the end of the world. Like I said before, I say it again. And Colorado Avalanche against the Vegas Golden Knights. What a matchup that was last night. 8-4 Vegas. Vegas was phenomenal. They were Victor Olofsson, the new guy who used to play for the Buffalo Sabres. 2 goals. What a comeback. He took a $1 million risk for a 1-year deal. He played spectacular. Jack Eichel, he's gonna be a dangerous player. He's back to his old ways, and he's gonna be a point per game. Jack Eichel is going to lead this team in points, and Mark Stone as well. It was just a very unique game, with Adin Hill going back and forth with Georgiev of Colorado. It just didn't feel, Georgiev's night. And don't forget, Georgiev led the league in wins back to back for the last 2 seasons. And, Cal McCarr, 2 helpers, McKinnon got 1, and McKinnon, unbelievable. I gotta say, that was Vegas got those 2 points. That was worth it for them. And that was, a fast-paced game and very vibrant as usual in the Sin City of Las Vegas. All right. Let's get to tonight's business, shall we? We got the Montreal Canadiens playing another game against the Boston Bruins, and the Boston Bruins are playing Jeremy Swayman, first start of the year, after signing his identical Ilya Sorokin contract extension. This right here is going to be interesting. And, I think Wayne Primo is going to get the start for this one against the Boston Bruins. Montreal and Boston, it's that old school rivalry. It's the home open for Boston. It's going to be that iconic, old-time, old-school hockey rivalry that everyone loves to see. That right there, I think it's going to be Boston's opportunity today. Boston's going to get this one. There won't be no surprise right there. And then you've got the LA Kings against the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo's first game of the year against LA. And I'll say it will be a close one. It will be a close one. I got to say LA slightly. I think LA gets it done in a very close matchup. And then you've got the reigning Stanley Cup champ Florida Panthers playing against Nick Cousins, Travis Hamonic, Tim Stützle, Jake Sanderson, and Linus Ullmark of the Ottawa Senators. That right there is Ottawa's home opener. And Florida, they're motivated, they're hungry. It will be no surprise they get it done tonight. It will be a 4-2 Florida Panthers. And then we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the New Jersey Devils. Sheldon Keefe, first game as the New Jersey Devils coach against his old team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Poetic justice. Would love to see something happen. I believe New Jersey, they are on a mission. The expectations are high on them. They're one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, everybody's like, oh, Toronto. Biz and Gretz are like, oh, Toronto then. But I'm telling you, tonight, this will be a different one. I'm going to go New Jersey with this one. New Jersey gets it done 5-4 in overtime. And this will be a fun matchup for all of us because, you got Austin Matthews against Jack Hughes, the 2 young studs from the U.S. I got to say it'll be a great matchup between. Now we got our unique, interesting matchup tonight. We've got the Utah Hockey Club making their first ever road trip into Belmont, New York, UBS Arena against the New York Islanders. That right there is going to be an interesting game, shall we say. That right there, my friends, that right there, we are going to see a close game close game, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to go. This is going to be tough. Samsonov is going to be the starter tonight, and then you've got Connor Ingram in net. I gotta say that matchup is going to be, yeah, it will be a close one. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Islanders. It's home opener, but who knows? It will be either 4-3 or 3-2 each. Or I'm going to go with New York Islanders. And make sure you see Cal Clutterbuck on TV tonight. And also, Matt Martin could be playing defense during practice. Yeah, we heard that here. Matt Martin could be a seventh man in defense. He's still got a little left in the tank, but it's gonna suck without Matty Martin, Kyle Clutterbuck. Those guys were so iconic for the past decade on the fourth line for the New York Islanders. Hardworking dudes, one of the most appreciated lines, fourth liners in the past decade. Yeah, and then now we're going to two former dynasties playing against each other tonight. The Detroit Red Wings against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins are playing a back-to-back. They're on the road in Detroit. This game is moved to 8 o'clock to accommodate the Detroit Tigers, who are in the midst of going to their first ALCS in 10 years. They are playing against the Cleveland Indians. I'm not calling them Guardians. I'm calling them Indians. Who cares? So I'm going to go root for my Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers are going to win, and they're going to be in the ALCS for the first time in a long time, in 10 years. And the Detroit Red Wings against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I say Pittsburgh got to bounce back. I don't see it happening. Pittsburgh, they are shallow themselves. The Red Wings are young. They're feisty. They're quicker. The Red Wings, I'm going to say this one goes to shootout, and it's the red carpet night. It's the home opener. Red Wings are hungry. They're motivated. They're starving. They are going to make some noise about trying to make their first playoff appearance as well. It's not April in the D. It's October in the D because Detroit sports are thriving again. First time in a long time. I say the Red Wings win this one. Not only just in a shootout, I'm going to say this one could get ugly. I'm going to go Red Wings 5, Penguins 2. And then another matchup we got on tonight is Nashville and Dallas. We are seeing the debut of Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, and Brady Shea as Nashville Predators. The expectations are really high in the Music City, people. It's very high right now. I'm going to say this right here will be a close battle. It's a rivalry game in the division. This is going to be I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm going to say it's going to be even. Dallas, I'm going to say Dallas gets this one done. They get this done regulation by 1 goal. I'm going 2-1. That's going to be for that side. And then we got Columbus Blue Jackets against the Minnesota Wild. And Columbus, it's going to be a long season for them. They've been through tragedy, and now they've got a significant injury to their captain, Boone Jenner. He's getting his shoulder redone, shoulder surgery. He's out for 6 months, and they're having faith that he will play in the last few games of the year. But it's going to be a long, long season for the Columbus Blue Jackets and Minnesota Wild. They've got to do their due diligences because by July 1, the cap of the buyouts of Zach Parise and Ryan Suter are going to be off the books. And then they got to make the biggest investment in Minnesota Wild history, getting Kirill Kaprizov re-signed to an insane amount of money. I mean, I'm going to say this. This guy is going to get a 15, maybe $16 million contract, but is it going to be wise to sign someone like that to a max contract? And don't forget, Leon Draisaitl came into the NHL right away. He played a little bit. He went back to Kelowna, then he went to Bakersfield, and then he earned himself his own way of paving himself into the NHL. But Kirill Kaprizov, he's only been in the league since 2020, 2021, and he won Rookie of the Year and stuff. But he had that long time stretch in the KHL. No one knew he was going to come on over or not, but the investment was worth it. I gotta say, Kirill Kaprizov, like I think it's gonna come down to the wire. I see that if this does not happen for the Wild, if they do not get their franchise player sign the contract extension, this is going to get ugly for them. And I tell you this, we're going to see a ugly divorce, and you're going to see a unique deal that Kirill Kaprizov goes to the Blackhawks to go play with Connor Bedard, and the Blackhawks become a resurrected franchise. But for me, I will do, if I was Billy Guerin, I would do anything and everything in my power to re-sign my leading goal scorer and my superstar forward to a maximum contract ASAP. No further ands and buts. I get that contract signed now. Get it done. Make sure everything's all secure and stuff. And finally, we've got the St. Louis Blues against the San Jose Sharks. It's the debut of Macklin Sambrini and Will Smith, the number one overall pick in this past draft, and the draft pick and the year before top lotto pick coming in there as a 1-2 punch for the Senators. And this right here, I gotta say, this is good. St. Louis, it's gonna be an interesting game. St. Louis got their dub the other day. I'm gonna say San Jose gets this one, but hold that thought. St. Louis already played a game. This will be back and forth, but the final will be St. Louis 4, San Jose 1. And San Jose, you still have a ways to go on your rebuild. Yeah. And speaking of our next topic, goaltending. The Seattle Kraken are making a very risky investment in Joey Daccord on that $25 million contract. He gets $25 million for the next 5 years. He's only played 68 games. They're heavily investing in him because Philip Grubauer's got $5.9 million left for 2 years, and they're willing to buy Philip Grubauer out to bring someone else into their lineup. I mean, the Seattle Kraken, they're going to be investing in a lot of players because, in the free agent market this upcoming summer, because I know we're barely into the season. We're in the season. This is like our 4th day. Seattle is going to get the Supersonics back, and Seattle is going to become this hotbed for free agents to come because you're going to be a major league city that has all 4 major sports teams. And the Kraken, they got, Ron Francis could be on the hot seats, because, you already got Dan Biles in there. You've got Jessica Campbell in there. You've got a interesting team, and I picked the Seattle Kraken to make the playoffs as a 3rd seed in the Pacific Division. They got to get it right and get it done because it's an investment. Every player is a poker chip, a stock, part of the stock market, and the real estate. Everyone knows it's real estate, Vegas, and Wall Street. Oh, yeah. And like I said about Boone Jenner, Boone Jenner is going to be out for most of the season with a shoulder surgery. I got to tell you, this right here is going to, the Blue Jackets have been through enough in their existence. 25 years. They've only won 1 playoff round, and, you lost your superstar. I'm still heartbroken, sad for Johnny Gaudreau. It is still sad in my point of view. The Columbus Blue Jackets are going to get through a long, difficult season. All right, now, Amalie Arena update. There's no major damage, just a couple of, signs on the exterior fall off. But their old home, Tropicana Field, a.k.a. the Thunderdome, that roof is off like it's the Superdome. I mean, just sad, send my prayers, thoughts, and love to the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg area and the Gulf Coast of Florida. And we all heard that the NHL is going to have postponed the Lightning game this Saturday against the Carolina Hurricanes. And speaking of Florida, the Florida Panthers, I know Carter Verhaeghe just got signed to that new contract extension that starts next season. Now the hard work begins. Now you've got Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a very difficult situation. The salary cap is going to go up to 92 and a half, 93 million, currently at 88 and a half million. So, wow, that's going to be a tough one. And Aaron Ekblad's been with the Panthers since he's been the number one overall pick a decade ago. And I got to say, this is going to be a difficult decision. And it's him or Ben. It's Ekblad or Bennett. Ekblad or Bennett. You got your core locked up. Bill Zito's a smart man. He knows how to, he's been a player agent before. He's very crafty what he does for his work. And I see like a compromisable deal going to be taking place. The question is for the Florida Panthers is that, can you keep your core together? I mean, the Red Wings, they lost almost half their core after the lockout in 04, 05 into the 05, 06 season. I think it's going to be a tough call. And if you keep it's going to be a tough call. The Florida Panthers are in a tough bind here with these calls. But anywho, yeah, it's been a unique day. Hurricane Milton did not hit Delray Beach. It hit up in Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens, and my prayers and thoughts up to our northern Palm Beach County neighbors and everybody else all around. And tomorrow we'll be back here recapping last night's games and talking about tomorrow night's games and the weekend games. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, share this intel through social media, text it to your friends. I don't care. Go through Instagram, Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube, True Social, you name it. We'll be on those platforms 5 days a week. We'll be out there from Monday through Friday for a half hour, maybe to an hour, depending on what circumstances of news we've got for the day. Hope you guys enjoy the show. It's been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. Don't forget, subscribe and follow and share with your friends through text message and social media and Facebook, YouTube, X, Rumble, True Social, Instagram, you all name it. It's been real, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, recapping the games from last night and the latest news in the NHL, NCAA, and in the minor leagues of the American League, ECHL, Southern Pro, and the Fed. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.